Hi, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. Hope you feel incredible this morning. Every Monday through Friday, we meet up right here, and all we really talk about is helping you make more business, make more money with your business. I was about to say more business with your money. That's all we do. At the end of the day, your business is like a starship. See what I did there? But all I'm saying is, all we got is us, man, and our ability to solve problems. Me and my brother all this weekend, we're having this really, really vigorous debate about whether capitalism is good or bad. Because he was saying, like, it's a problem with the fact that that Walmart, 80% of the employees that work for Walmart are on personal, are on what do you call it, public assistance. 80% of Walmart employees are on public assistance. And he's like, that's due to capitalism. Or he was talking about how Amazon, how, something like a 20th of the people in America have worked for Amazon, something crazy like that. And Bezos is getting richer and richer. You see him at Coachella wearing, you know what I mean, these crazy outfits and all of that. And your propensity will be to start hating on Jeff Bezos or start feeling like, wow, well, Mark Zuckerberg, he don't seem to have emotions. Is he a robot and all of that? We love that. We love talking about the rich. We love talking about but nobody's talking about how Jeff Bezos took a loss 13 years in a row building Amazon. We ain't talking about that part, And my main point to my brother was that capitalism didn't start with the slave trade. Capitalism didn't start with robber barons. Capitalism starts with problem solving. The root of capitalism is based on ignorance. That's why we're all in the hunt for knowledge, because in a capitalist system, you learn more, you earn more. But he kept on going. He was revealing all of these little statistics and just breaking down his philosophy. And I asked him at one point, I said, check it out, bro. With you knowing all of this, and we know that ignorance is bliss, right? We know that as long as you don't know about nothing, you are just so in a dream world. Everything is just one. We know ignorance is bliss. I was like, how do you learn all of this stuff and stop yourself from being a cynic? And I was like, you know the definition of a cynic. A cynic is somebody who's against everything but for nothing. How do you stop yourself from being a cynic? Hold up.
You have something special. You have greatness in you.
Give me 1 second.
Hello, this is Les Brown, and you're in the right place at the right
Let's
time.
go.
Because we're going to bring the millionaire out of you.
Y'all ready?
Thank you. Please announce yourself.
Okay. Hold up just a second, everybody.
All participants are muted. Entry and exit tones are on.
Okay, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope you feel incredible this morning. My name is Haziq Ali, and my stated purpose is to help you make more money with your business. Many of you know, some of you don't. I've done nothing but run businesses my whole life. I'm blessed and fortunate to be in a position right now where once I took over as the CMO of my own company, we hit the Inc. 5000 list of fastest growing companies in America, not just once, not just twice, but we just found out we made it a third year in a row. Your boy ain't playing. And all I'm saying is that if you follow these principles, if you follow the strategies that we're giving you, you're going to find yourself looking at things differently, which means you're going to find yourself with a different attitude, which means you're going to find yourself with different activity, which means you're going to find yourself with new results, which is going to lead to a different lifestyle. Am I making sense? It's this beautiful formula that includes mindset, skill set, and heart set that we break down to you every single morning, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. And we've been doing it for years at this point. I got so many testimonies of people that were making $2,000 a month when they started with me that are now making six figures a month, or people that started off jacked up like I was, homeless, living out of vans and cars. One brother was living out his taxi cab and whatnot. And now they're able to create financial freedom. I put it in the last newsletter. The highest level of entrepreneurship, y'all, is your free time. Time is the most important thing you got on your side. If you don't believe me, all you got to do is mess up in society, and you're going to recognize the first thing they take from you is your time. You got me? But guess what you can still do when you're locked up in prison? You can still talk all day on the phone. You can still scroll social media. I got an ex. This sounds crazy, right? I got an ex who went viral on social media because she's gorgeous. I'm talking about just drop dead gorgeous and stuff. And she's dating this cat that's in prison. He'll be in prison another 15 years and all of that. And they went viral because this dude's in prison. He's still helping her pay bills. He's in prison. He's still on social media all the time. They still got drama because she feel like other girls be in his comments too much. The dude is in prison. Do you hear what I'm saying? My point to you is that when you're in prison, you can still watch TV. You can still scroll social media. What am I saying? I'm saying a lot of people in prison on their couch. A lot of people in prison in their apartment, in their house, and they in prison because they're doing all the same things that people would do if they had no choice with what to do at their time. Am I making sense to somebody out there? What I'm trying to say is that you got to start using your time a little better. But before you'll do that, you've got to change your attitude. But before you'll do that, you got to adjust your philosophy a little bit. So this morning, what we're talking about are these different ways to guarantee positive mindset. I'm going to give you 11 different behaviors that are going to increase your positive mindset, your abundance mindset. Because this ain't just some trendy term that people use. Positivity is a lifestyle. Somebody say, and this is a lot to type in, right? A positive attitude isn't going to fix everything, but a negative attitude sure can make anything worse. Is that a lot? Is that too much for you to type? Is that too much for you to type? Listen to me, y'all. A positive attitude ain't the answer to everything, but a negative attitude ain't the answer to nothing. You hear what I'm saying to you? Positive mindset is a lifestyle that literally makes you a better person. Because when you have a positive mindset, you're suddenly equipped to handle things that happen in your life. You're suddenly equipped to be able to add value to other people around you that are going through things in their life. And because this world is so geared towards having a negative mindset, optimism is a force multiplier. Optimism makes you stand out in the crowd, even if people are blind. You get what I'm saying to you? If you want to embrace positivity, first thing we got to do, though, is we got to figure out what creates negative mindset, right? Here are 4 common causes of negativity that maybe you never bumped into, because it's real easy to be negative in this world. I mean, look at it. A traffic light, they call it a stoplight. They don't call it a go light. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to be negative. Everything is just built around how if you just had this, then you'd have a happy life. Oh, if you had this, if you took this pill, if you drank this potion, if you stopped doing this, if you did more of that, then you would be happy. We live in the United States of advertising, and as a born marketer, a born entrepreneur, I can tell you for sure, one of the most powerful ways to create change in somebody's life is to exacerbate their pain. Because people don't move for gain. They move to avoid pain. Y'all hear me? And so since we live in the US of A, which I call the United States of advertising, the whole system is geared towards exacerbating your pain. So how do you stop all of this? Where do these toxic thoughts come from now that you see that they're all around you? Well, here are the 4 major causes of negative thinking. The first one is fear. I don't know about you, but every sketchy decision I've ever made, every choice that I've ever made that turned out to be self-destructive, the biggest wrong decisions I ever made all came from fear. It starts to inhibit your positive thinking. And a lot of times, the activity you come up with to kind of assuage your fears, to allay your fears, it ends up making things way, way worse. You start to get protective rather than to live in love and faith. And before you know it, you've created a self-fulfilling prophecy. You hear me? I'm telling you from my own life that if you live in fear, what's going to happen is you're going to to mess up your ability to see the good in life. Here's the second one: poor self-image. Poor self-image. Now, you know, we're always doing affirmations. We're always doing visualization exercises. But check it out. The reason that we work on your self-esteem so much is because self-esteem is like the hub in the wheel of success. Self-esteem is the hub because you're never going to go no further than your dreams. Am I making sense? Am I making sense, y'all? Millionaires, how you look at yourself, how you see your self-concept. If you're in a place where instead of seeing your beautiful qualities, you tend to dwell on your negative ones, a lot of times it's not your fault. It's what parents, preachers, teachers, well-meaning but underachieving friends poured into you. People who you chose based on zip code when you were a little kid versus shared values. You know, when we were little kids, man, our friends were chosen for us by where we lived at, where we went to school, stuff like that. We didn't have the ability to go out to networking events and stuff like that. Maybe our parents tried to put us in cool groups and organizations. Anybody out there, mama put them in the choir or put them in the band? That was your mama trying to put you around people that got more positive things going on. Because idle time is a devil's workshop. Doing drugs is just a war with boredom. A lot of times we're infinitely more gifted than we realize. We have infinitely more capacity than we realize. And instead, we look at that child as being stupid or having a learning disorder when really he's picking up the stuff quicker than everybody else. And so he's bored. What happens, though, is that poor self-image kicks in because of other people's opinions about what you do. And now you got people walking around that think they bad at math because they got a bad grade one time. And then their mama said, why are you so bad at math? You got people out there that think they bad at dancing or that they'll never be able to handle money or that nobody will ever love them, all because of images that were put into their head when they were a youngin'. You get what I'm saying to you? And then what do? They go out here and they continue to be bad at math, or they act in ways that make them hard to love, et cetera, so forth. It's all poor self-image. Am I making sense to somebody out there? The third place that all this negativity comes from, y'all, is your inner critic. A lot of us don't realize that, you know, one of my favorite artists is a cat named Jay-Z. And one of these songs I love, he got this song with this cat named Jay Electronica. And he was like, no civilization is conquered from the outside until they destroy themselves from within. Now, he actually got that from this movie called Apocalypto with Mel Gibson, which is a wild movie. But it's also true of yourself. Do you recognize if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm? It ain't what these people call you. You hear me, champion? It ain't what these people say to you. It ain't how these people think of you. It's what you believe. If somebody came up to you today and they said, oh, your hair is on fire. Excuse me, your hair is on fire. You would look at them and you would get concerned for them. But when they tell you you a bad mother, or they tell you you a bad father, or they tell you you're a horrible salesperson, or they tell you you suck at being an entrepreneur, or they tell you you need to go get a job, you listen to that. You don't look at them with pity. You don't look at them with care and concern and compassion. Why? Because your inner critic agrees with them. You got to combat this stuff. And we're going to give you some constructive activities to do it this morning, but you got to train that inner critic to criticize constructively. And then it'll start helping you generate more positive thoughts. You got to train that inner critic so when you got a loved one that's giving you some constructive criticism, you can actually hear it instead of looking to get defensive because you're worried somebody done found out your secret that you ain't perfect. We already know you ain't perfect. Let me give you a little secret. We all know you ain't perfect. We all have noticed that already, and we love you anyway. But that leads me to number 4, yo, toxic relationships. A lot of people throw this word toxic around, but at the end of the day, when you're at your most toxic, it's because you're at your most self-absorbed. You hear me? God put us here on this planet to network with you. I mean, the 10 commandments, all of these scriptures, all of these work, this is all networking advice. God clearly recognizes that if you can do it by yourself, you really ain't doing much. And we've all heard the adage that birds of a feather flock together. Check it out. If you're hanging out with people that got a negative mindset, if you're hanging out with people that call you the B word all the time, right, ladies? If you're hanging out with fellas that are always just talking about, nonsense and complaining, but there's never no solutions involved. Anybody know people like that? Check it out. It's safe to say you also going to end up being pessimistic. Find people who increase the positivity in your life. Find people who increase your worldview. Man, I had some incredible conversations this weekend with just some fantastic people, with some really world-altering, paradigm-shifting points of view. You got me? I'm talking about there is nothing like positive relationships, and there's also nothing like toxic relationships. So now that I've given you kind of like 4 ways that you can throw off or that you can begin to emanate negative mindset, now let's talk about what we're here for this morning. What are 15 ways to increase that positive mindset? What are the 15 best activities that can help you kind of elevate your mood, raise your vibration, make you happier in general? I got 11 of them for you. Maybe I'll give you, and then I got a couple bonuses. So that's why I said 15. All right, you ready? Here's the first one. All right, the first one is don't live according to a label. Excuse my hiccups, y'all. I promise you, I ain't have hiccups all morning until I started trying to chop it up with y'all. All right, so here's number 1. Don't live according to a label. People will inadvertently label you because people be peopling. They don't mean no harm. Everybody's trying to categorize everybody else so that they can make it through this world in a more convenient, easy way, right? But check it out. If labeling people is a toxic thing to do, labeling yourself is straight up self-destructive. Putting yourself in a class can empower you sometimes, right? But a lot of times when you label yourself, you tend to label yourself stuff that other people called you. And now you're having feelings that ain't so healthy. Stop telling yourself you are your worst moments. Just because you failed don't mean you're a failure. Is a baby a bad person because the baby don't know how to walk? Of course not. Of course not. Every time the baby fails at walking, does that mean that the baby is suddenly like some kind of loser? Maybe the baby should just get a little skateboard and just roll around on its belly. Just lay down on the skateboard and just roll, right? Whee! Right? Maybe the baby should do that. No, the baby shouldn't do that. Why does the baby keep on trying? Since we on the topic, why does the baby keep on trying to walk? The baby got a soft spot in the top of his head, right? The baby could fall and that could kill the baby, but the baby keep on trying to walk. Why? It's back to those relationships, y'all. The baby's hanging out with people that are walking all the time. The baby's looking up and everybody's walking. So the baby can't help but to say, this is what we do around here. We walk. The problem when you start living according to a label is that walking for you might be making $50,000 a year instead of $50,000 a month. Walking for you might be spending your time scrolling social media instead of reading a book. Me just being around my brother, like the dude brought a book to my son's graduation. The dude woke up reading a book. He crushed out one joint and then, he got me for one of my books. He got me. I'm glad we're having this conversation. He texted me while I'm doing this morning. He got me for one of my books. He got me for this book on personality types with your children. Like how to talk with your children using personality types. And he got me. Oh, that's cold. But my point is, it was such a good thing for me to see him reading the way he was because it reminded me who I am. It reminded me who I want to be. So the first positivity inducing behavior I got for you is to start speaking kindly to yourself. You know, we do affirmations every single morning. What if instead of you saying I'm a widow, what if instead of you saying I'm an ex offender, what if instead of saying I'm an ex drug addict, you said I'm a survivor? What if you said, I can accomplish anything I put my mind to? What if you said, I am a happy person? What if you said, I am so happy and grateful? Y'all know Proverbs 23:7? Everybody know Proverbs 23:7? Huh? As you think in your heart, so shall you be, right? As a man thinketh, all that good stuff. You should jot that down. Proverbs 23:7. You should jot it down, right? It's time for us to be more intention. It's time for us to use more intention with what we give our attention. Y'all got me? All right, here's the second one. So if the first one is don't live by a label, the second one is reframe negative situation. Reframe negative situations. I'm gonna tell y'all this. I done said it before. I'm gonna say it again. The power to remain grateful, even in the midst of the storm, is the exact same power that bends the universe to our will. Y'all know that story about Jesus being calm in the middle of that boat when there's a storm all around. They're like, how is this dude sleeping? It's because his faith, and I know I'm mixing metaphors, the bird's faith ain't in the branch that it's sitting on. The bird's faith is in the bird's wings. You got me? How's your mental power, baby? Some people crumble whenever anything unpleasant comes their way, but it's all a matter of perception. Man, check it out. We saw so much social justice, so much emphasis and momentum going towards the fact that Black people have been done super cruddy in this country. But you know where it all came from? George Floyd getting choked out for 7+ minutes. That's where it all started. You cannot have a bad without there being a good. And Think and Grow Rich, it taught us that every negative event has within it the seed of an equal or even better positive result. I just butchered that, but y'all get what I'm saying. It is impossible to have cons without pros. It's also impossible to have pros without cons, right? Best thing about somebody, gonna be the worst thing about somebody. Best thing about a situation is gonna be the worst thing about a situation. My question to you is, which one is more empowering? It's all a matter of perception. It would help if you learn to reframe situations so you see the positive side instead of keep dwelling on the negative. Instead of keep on dwelling on what's bad. Instead of sauteing in your own juices as you wallow in all the worst case scenarios. Sometimes we love talking about our feelings of disappointment and sadness. And then we go to other people and we vent to them. Man, I love the idea that you get to dictate the vibration of things by dictating how you choose to see it. Shift your perspective, millionaire, because every cloud has a silver lining. That ain't just a t-shirt. That ain't just a bumper sticker. It is an art form to be able to find the positive even in the most negative situations. I dare you learn to reframe. You're going to be finding yourself playing a whole different game. Here's the third one, y'all. Embrace positive thinking by embracing change. All I can say about this is that we're creatures of habit, and change is hard for all of us because your brain is not a happiness device. Your brain is not a money-making device. Your brain is a survival mechanism. What I mean to say is your brain sees something new happening and it's like, oh no, man, we don't know what's over there. We need to stay right here and do what we're doing. Even if over there is you finishing that project you're supposed to be working on. Even if over there are the activities that lead to that promotion you're looking for at the job. Even if over there are the experiences which could unlock your potential, unlock your power to achieve the promise that you made God when he first gave you that idea. You got me? But your brain says, oh no, don't go over there. That's new. Well, yeah, it's new. There's no way you're going to get new results doing the same old thing. And we know that logically. But what I'm saying is when it's time for the pedal, when it's time for the rubber to hit the road, a lot of times we hit the brakes, right? Life ain't going to stay the same. Life is going to constantly evolve. And you've heard this a million times before, but check it out. Change is inevitable. Progress is optional. Somebody give it to me. Change is inevitable. Progress is optional. And I know inevitable is a little bit of an SAT word for some of us, but one of us is going to put it up. I'm going to throw it on the screen, and then you're going to know how to spell inevitable. But check it out, y'all. Change is inevitable. Progress is the one that's optional. Here's the fourth one I got for you. Meditation. I'm doing advanced sales mastery in a couple weeks with the top money earner in our entire company. You know what I mean? You are all invited to advanced sales mastery. It's going to be a big old family reunion. Y'all know how we do it around here, millionaire minded. But one thing she blew my mind with her team. She's getting a big old Airbnb, and everybody that comes, she's going to teach them meditation that weekend of June 9th through the 11th. Isn't that amazing? Millionaires, meditation is a powerful tool. It can step your positive thinking way up. And it works so well because it helps you silence all the noise in your brain. It slows your brain down. It enhances your focus. It gets you back in the alpha state where your mind is the most absorbent. Too many times, people concentrate on things that ain't even relevant. Social media, anybody? Social media, anybody? Oh, Hazik, I got to post for my business. Did you have to post for 4 hours today? No, you didn't. A lot of that is you just wasting your time. A lot of that is you adding to the chaos in your mind. A lot of that is you adding to the distraction, the distrust, the lack of faith. You're raising up your comparison. You see, this person just now got, a new outfit. Now you want a new outfit. You see, this person is just now, had a baby. Now you want a baby. This person just now, flew to Sri Lanka, and you're like, every time you log on, they feeding ostriches in the middle of the Mediterranean or some crap. And you're like, my life sucks. Your life don't suck. Matter of fact, their life might suck. Oh, why you say that, Hazi? Because they so pressed to post everything they do. All I'm saying is meditation might help with some of that. Am I making sense, y'all? All that, somebody give it to me in the comments. Comparison is the thief of joy. I appreciate that, Mrs. Goins. Mrs. Goins, she accepted the challenge and typed in inevitable. Right on. Inevitable. There you go. Somebody in the Facebook group went for it too. Inevitable. All right, so now I got another one for you. This is way easier. Somebody type in comparison is the thief of joy, and then put that in the comments when you share this thing with somebody. Comparison is the thief of joy. All right, here's number 5. Unfinished business, y'all. Settle unfinished business. What do I mean? Your brain is like a computer. You be having all these tabs open, or your brain is like your phone. You be having all these tabs open, and now you can't really focus. So what do I mean in real life? Maybe you need to apologize to somebody for saying or doing something wrong, right? Maybe there's a project that you're supposed to be finishing up, and you keep on putting it off, and people are depending on you to finish that. Check it out. Maybe you need a reset. It's really challenging to turn over a new leaf with positive thinking if you got a bunch of negativity holding you back. If there's any business that you need to settle, now's the time to let it go, right? Now's the time to let go of these ties that bind. Can I get a witness? A lot of times we don't even recognize it, but that's one of the things making us feel negative. We like, because you like, I don't be finishing what I start. Here's number 6. Don't fight your emotions. Hey, fellas, if you need to cry, cry. You got to get that stuff out. You don't need to be giving yourself ulcers and dis-ease because of some image that your daddy put in you with John Wayne or maybe Minister Society. You want to be O-Dog. That's who you want to be, dog. O-Dog. All right. What's wrong with you? And then ladies, y'all already know this by and large, but don't fight your emotions. You're hardwired with a bunch of different emotions for a reason, and these emotions are signals. Don't mistake it. Your feelings ain't facts, right? How many times have you had a real strong feeling about something and it turned out to be completely wrong? Your feelings ain't facts, but your feelings can be signals. That's why I'm always using it. Y'all see this? The feeling wheel. Everybody get it? The feeling wheel. I know I talk about this all the time. My therapist put me under this. When you're feeling something, it a lot of times is a symbol of something that you're lacking. But wouldn't it be terrible if you couldn't have a refreshing cry? Embrace the ebbs and the flows of your feelings and allow yourself to be angry or allow yourself to be sad or allow yourself to be melancholy. Like my son had this real weird feeling around him. And I could relate to that. I remember graduating high school, and it's so easy for us to be like, these kids got it way easier. Man, it's hard out here. it might be easier. We always like to say the kids got it easier because we love to talk like we was marching barefoot through the snow for 30 miles to get to our school, like our grandparents used to tell us. You know what I'm saying? But check it out. It's hard for these kids out here. Social media ain't no joke. You know what I mean? People always talking crap about people. The whole object of social media half the time is to be the best troll, to be say you're smarter, you look better, or you're more snarky than everybody else. You can say the most mean thing in a passive aggressive manner or whatever the heck. Social media crazy. And these kids grew up on that. Can you imagine some of their self-concepts? Can you imagine some of their self-images? Can you imagine, since China lets all this crap through to our kids, what it's really doing to their psyche? Because in China, they only allowed to watch TikTok videos about being a scientist or some dope social experiment or how to be an astronaut or how to do math better. But here, they got you watching kittens twerking. All I'm saying, y'all, is don't fight your emotions. When my son was feeling a little melancholy, I had him Google it. I was like, you seem a little melancholy. He was like, that's how you say that word? Because he's used to reading the word. He'd never seen it written out. He's used to reading it. He's like, that's how you say it? And I was like, yeah, man, that's how you say it. And he Googled and he's like, well, I wouldn't say I'm sad. But you see, most of us only use those three words. We go happy, angry, or sad. Yo, there are dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of emotions. You just don't have the emotional vocabulary. I want to encourage you to expand it a little bit. All right, so we'll pick this up tomorrow. I'll finish giving them to you. Was this helpful? You got something out of this? I hope you did. All right, so I gave you the first 6. We'll finish these tomorrow. It's affirmation time. It's time for you to say something positive to yourself. You know what I mean? It's affirmation time. Y'all always think we weird when we start doing affirmations and whatnot. I'm going to tell you something. You doing affirmations already. But there's this big book about entrepreneurship that was like, let the weak say, I am strong. Y'all caught that? In the beginning was the word. Winston Churchill, even though he was a wild boy, a drunk, an alcoholic, all of this stuff, he got one of my favorite quotes in all of history. He's like, the price of greatness is responsibility for your thoughts. Woo! I'm going to say it again because y'all might have missed it. The price of greatness is responsibility for your thoughts. Hey, repeat after me. Say it like you mean it. Put some energy into it. You got to take your cool off. You know, half your problem now is you worry about what people think. Don't be worrying about is your kids going to think mama weird. Your kids going to join in. Don't be saying, oh, is my wife going to think I'm weird, right, fellas? Your wife going to join in eventually, even if she's just doing it in her head at first. But one thing I know for sure is that we need some time every day where we talk nice to ourselves. You know, it'd be like, talk to me nice or don't talk to me twice. Remember how I just now said, a lot of times your enemy, my enemy is the inner me. This is how we recondition it. Yeah, exactly, Jasmine. I am. These are the 2 most powerful yet shortest words in the whole English language. I am. Because what happens right after that is you're talking to 73 trillion cells in your body. You feel me, Dana? All right, let's go. All right, repeat after me. Say it like you mean it. I am so happy and grateful that all my best friends are